It's John, the firearms instructor, and today it's all about red dots. It's the pros and cons of putting a red dot on your pistol. Should you or shouldn't you? All right, so as a firearms instructor, I think you should never put a red dot on your gun until you absolutely positively know how to shoot that pistol. There are a lot of manufacturers right now that are putting red dots on everything. And it's okay to buy one of those once you know how to use your iron sights. But if you don't know how to use your iron sights, you should not shoot a red dot until you absolutely, especially for a newbie, right? There's so much learning curve. So we're gonna go through the pros and the cons, and then we're gonna let you make a decision on what you think is best for you. So let's go with the pros first, because I don't want people to think that I'm anti-red dot, because I'm not. I think they do offer a lot of or a lot of good things for you. Let's start out right off the bat. The first pro would be enhanced accuracy. Once you've sighted it in, obviously. There's a little learning curve on sighting them in. Once they're sighted, if you buy one from the manufacturer, most likely it's going to be sighted in pretty well and get comfortable shooting it. You can be as accurate as you want it to be. Now, you can't expect a red dot to be a crosshair on a scope, but you can get them pretty tight. So that number one would be enhanced accuracy. Number two, speed acquisition, target acquisition, quick acquisition, being able to get to one target versus the next target versus the next target. Basically, if the dot's on there, that's where the bullet's going to impact. And that would be number two. Number three is low light conditions. Man, in low light conditions, those red dots or those green dots are going to pop really, really good. So when you have a low lights or at your home in the middle of the night, definitely would be enhanced to be able to see your sights. A lot of times those guns don't come with night sights, and even if they do come with night sights, the whole gun is in black, or the dot itself. Versatility, meaning it, number four would be the versatility. There's so many red dots now, and there's so many different styles, and the money prices have come down on them, so they are very versatile. But there is some cost factors involved, and then it's going to take your time learning to shoot a pistol. The training is number five. The training part of it, once you've got it down, it's pretty good. But the challenge of any system like that is it's got to work. It's got to be part of your nature. I love the red dot thing, because normally what happens with a red dot, you have both eyes open. You're able to shoot this thing with both eyes open, so it does help you get a bigger field of view. So there's so many. These are just five things I think of, five pros of adding a red dot. Now let's go through the cons. Number one con on most of them, man, they're expensive. If you take I'm thinking of like the micro Crimson Trace Rad. That goes on a lot of the equalizers, that goes on a lot of Smiths, that goes on a lot of the, you can get the Hellcats will fit that. Man, those things start at $200, and that's a deal. $225 if you do green, $240, $225 to $240 if you do green. Now the difference between red and green on the outside use, green's going to show up a lot better in daylight use, while red would wash very quickly. But in low light conditions, red's going to pop like crazy, where green's going to see a little less of it. So you'll see a little less of it. Number two would be adding weight. The con of number two is you're adding weight to the gun. You're adding bulk to the gun. There's a lot of times, if you're trying to conceal this weapon, you've got that dot on there. You've got, it does add to the footprint on the gun. So that's kind of a con there. Batteries, glass, rain, drop it. There's a lot of different stuff. If you're counting on this dot to be your target or be your sight system, and you drop that weapon and it breaks, what's going to happen to the weapon itself? What's going to happen to your dot on a piece of glass that's shattered, or it's not there at all, and you have never shot your iron sights? You know, these things go. I've been in a class before where it rained and they fog up. That's not going to be very good when they fog up. Now they've done a lot of enhancements now. I'm not saying all the red dots are like this, so don't start calling me a FUD already, please. But the battery thing, the glass, the fogginess, they're vulnerable, guys. Battery alone is vulnerable. Now they do make a lot of different stuff. You spend a little bit of money. One of the reasons why I like the shield so much, the rad from Crimson Trace, is because it's a shake awake. So when you let it sit for a few seconds here, it's going to shut off, and then when you lift it back up, it's going to come right back on. Those shake and wakes are cool, but if you have a button push red dot and you forgot to shut it off, what's going to happen to the battery? That's going to be somewhat challenging for you, right? You need that battery for the gun to work. So number 4 would be, I would consider the con would be a learning curve. There's a learning curve to using a red dot. I will tell you this, when you put that dot out in front of you, people are always trying to move the gun, or they're moving their head trying to find the dot. It takes a little bit of time. Remember, you're supposed to use both eyes open. You're not supposed to wink at it. And the more you do that, I'll give you a couple tips though. One of the best tips I can tell you is the dot should be floating on the target. So if you take your eyes and you focus out there on the target and bring the dot right out in front of you like that, you should be able to see it pretty well. And if you're going to move anything, you're going to move the pistol right and left and up and down. Do not move both. Don't move your head and the pistol. Try to keep the gun over your dominant eye as best you can, and keep both eyes open as you focus. A good drill is to bring it from the table and just bring it up. Bring it to the table and bring it up. You'll find it pretty easy. And the learning curve, I wouldn't say the learning curve is that tough, but learning how to install them, learning how to maintenance them, learning to make sure that they stay zero, right? Got to check all that stuff, especially at different distances. We install a red dot for a student. We will take the target all the way out to our furthest line, which is 35 feet, and we'll sight that red dot in at 35. So when we come in at a 10-yard or a 5-yard or a 3-yard shot, we'll test that out too, to see exactly which where the bullet's going to impact in all this. Normally from 35 in, it's pretty much dead hold zero, and you'll be impacting that paper plate all day long. There'll be no issue there. But if you're going down smaller and smaller and smaller targets, then you want to make sure you tighten up your red dot to a point. Best way to sight a red dot in is to box it up, put them on something that's got a good box on it, and then from there take a couple shots and then finish them. I actually have a diamond target that we have downloadable from our website, and that's what I would use. I did a video a couple months ago about using that diamond upside down pyramid target for red dots. It works good. I'll try to put one up here that you can watch that video. That'll help you see that. And we have those downloadable from our website as well. And number 5, I guess, of the cons is that holsters. You're going to have to find the best holster that's going to give you the ability to have that red dot exposed. You're just not going to be able to go buy an inexpensive holster anymore. You got to get a custom holster made for that. Now, there are a lot of manufacturers that make custom holsters now, so that's not really that big of a deal, but it's not going to be any of the holsters you have at home anymore. So you're adding expense of buying a holster. Once you get the pros and the cons together, that's your decision to make if you're going to add one or not add one. I would highly recommend that you always buy a weapon that is optic ready. Now that means you have the ability to put a red dot on it. Keep in mind, if you have a standard Glock 19, you got to get that rail up top, the slide, cut for an RMR, or buy an RMR optic ready plate for it. You just can't put a red dot on a slide. Now they do make the push, you push your old sight out and run a little plate on top of there, but those don't hold up real well for recoil management. You're better off having it cut into the plate, because when you have it cut in, like the Glock 19 MOS, it's lower than your sights, so you can actually keep your sights on the gun and co-witness through, which is a pretty cool thing. So I would highly recommend, if you have an opportunity to do any of this pros and cons, you look at each one of them, see what's going to benefit you, see what's not going to benefit you, and at the end you're going to pick the choice of yours. Should you put a red dot on your pistol? I don't know. That's up to you. That's your choice. It's not my choice. I can't make that decision for you. I will tell you, you'll love it. You'll like it. I think what you should do, in my opinion, is have two guns exactly the same. Now, it seems silly, but you'll understand here in a second. Let's say we take an easy or equalizer that's optic ready. I've already bought it. It's got an optic ready plate on there, and I learned to shoot that optic ready equalizer. And then I add another equalizer with a red dot, and I get really proficient with both of these, so I don't lose my ability to use my iron sights when I want to, but I have the ability to use my red dot, and each one of these will be fun to shoot. And then when one day you feel like a little fancy, you can carry your red dot, and when you feel like you want to be old school, you can carry your iron sights. That's what I would do. And you can always pick up a used either or, and it'll work for you fine. You can do what I said before, like the Glock makes rail assemblies that you could take your slide off and put an optic ready slide on, pretty economically as well. There's a couple different ways you could do it. But having a red dot with one manufacturer and an iron sights with another manufacturer, they're going to have two different kind of trigger assemblies, and from there I'm not sure if that's going to help you or hinder you. I would recommend you do a red dot on one gun and get the same gun with iron sights, and it will help you tremendously become more accurate with both pistols. I hope I helped you. I hope I didn't confuse you. Hope I didn't aggravate you. But if I found any value in what I did today for you, don't forget to hit the bell icon, the like, and the subscribe button. And every time we upload a video just like this, you'll be the first to know. Until next time, God bless, be safe, and remember, you are your first line of defense. I love you guys.